This is Marilyn Arnone with Part 1 of Week 2, Needs Assessment and Instructional Goals. Needs assessment is the most important step in the design process for an online course or instructional session, in my humble opinion. Sometimes, though, it's overlooked or hurried because of tight deadlines and such. But give this step as much time as you possibly can, and get consensus on the needs from those who have a stake in the course or instructional session. Now, what kinds of questions do you need to consider when conducting a needs assessment? There are three basic things to consider: learner characteristics, extant materials, and the instructor. Finding out about your potential learners is critical. In Step 1, you don't need to get into great depth on your learners, as you will address learner characteristics again in Step 3. Ask questions such as, who are they? Referring to the composition of your learning audience. What do they already know, and what do they need to know? Why do they need to acquire the knowledge and skills your instruction would provide? This provides a rationale for the instruction. There could be a skills or knowledge gap that needs to be filled. For example, perhaps it was determined that at a college where you teach, freshmen were coming in without adequate knowledge of information literacy skills, and that this was proven to have a negative effect on their coursework. That would be an answer to the why question. And how much time will learners need to dedicate to their learning? You may think they have more time than they actually do. This is an iterative process, and so you will revisit this again in Step 3 when you dig a little deeper into entry behavior and learner characteristics. A needs assessment also involves researching extant materials. This includes investigating whether high-quality instruction already exists elsewhere that you can send your learners to. If something appropriate exists and is available, you may not need to create new instruction, or at least you may not need to create every piece of your instruction. Now, this is different than Step 6, where you'll be actively looking for learning objects that you can reuse within your instruction. There's certainly no sense in reinventing the wheel for those aspects of your instruction that have already been done well and are available to you. During the needs assessment, then, you'll be researching what already exists on your topic. It's at this point that you should also consider the resources available for instructional delivery. Are you the person who will be delivering the instruction? Or will you create the instruction, but someone else will be delivering it? Sometimes a subject matter expert may be called in to help with content, but this person may not actually deliver it. What makes the most sense and why? To review, we've discussed three important considerations for a needs assessment: learner characteristics, extant materials, and the instructor. Next, Step 1 will involve developing one or more instructional goals. A goal statement should answer the question of why your students need the instruction. And an instructional goal is on a broad level. It's a general statement that, coupled with your instructional analysis in Step 2, will help guide you as you develop your specific and measurable learning outcomes. We'll address learning outcomes in depth in Week 3. Let's think about a sample situation around the topic of information literacy for college readiness. It's helpful to start with a definition of information literacy. The American Library Association defines information literacy as a set of abilities requiring individuals to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. School librarians will be teaching information literacy skills in each grade level with increasing levels of complexity, so that when students graduate from high school, they're hopefully ready for the demands of college. On the college level, information literacy skills may be integrated into the program's curriculum and supported by one-shot instructional sessions delivered by an instructional librarian. We'll focus on the college level. Before establishing our instructional goals, we need to decide what piece of this you will tackle. Do you need to develop a whole course on information literacy on the freshman college level? Or are you responding to a more immediate need and delivering instruction on one information literacy skill in a one-shot session? Let's suppose you are preparing a one-credit course on information literacy to be delivered in a 5-week session. Your broad level goal statement might look something like this. Students need to acquire information literacy skills for success in their college level classes. In this statement, both what skills are needed and why students need the skills is evident. Your goal analysis will answer the question of whether and how we know that instruction can meet the need. In this example, yes, instruction is a solution, and how we will know is through measuring student performance in the learning activities and in the assessments that we develop. In summary, needs assessment and instructional goals is an important first step in your 7-step process for instructional design for online learning.